Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1.
Range is hot. Lock and load. It's time for the Gun Rack with your hosts, Joey and Drew.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Gun Rack, Sonoran Desert Institute School of Firearms Technology's official podcast. I'm Josiah Upper. Folks call me Joey, and today we are in the throes of 2023's SHOT Show, and we're pretty excited about it. We're going to get to talk about that some. We've got with us, as always, one
Drew
Poplin, who probably, I think I've said this before, technically should be saying that I'm with him, but it's fine. It's fine.
We established a flow. I say we continue on with it.
Very well. But we're super excited. SHOT Show is a lot of fun. Before we do that, though, we have some shout-outs to do. We got Drew's Clues and a couple other quick things. Let's get right into it. Who's our shout-out for?
So this was from YouTube. It was Knight Sergeant Reyes. That was the username. And he said, I love SDI. I just got my gunsmithing degree. Well, so first off, thank you for commenting. We always love seeing that. Second, congrats on completing the course and achieving your degree. That's awesome. If you are down, Sergeant Reyes, to talk a little bit about your experience at SDI, please send a message to marketing@sdi.edu, and I'd love to sit down and get to chat with you.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Yeah, we always like hearing from our graduates about their experience at SDI. So let's do some Drew's Clues. Last week's answer was the Girandini air gun. And Benjamin Folks, we actually had someone write in. It was Benjamin Folks was a winner. So Benjamin, congratulations. Hopefully you have your shirt arrived. If not, just let us know. But yeah, this week's clues. This firearm is more known for sharing its name with a famous cartridge. This high-caliber hunting rifle is a single square bridge Mauser with a 25-inch barrel. Super rare. And in 1907, it was presented to Jim Corbett by the United Providence's Lieutenant Governor. And thanks for dispatching the man-eating tigress of Champawat, which had accounted for a confirmed 436 human deaths.
Holy crap.
Yeah, crazy. I feel like that's a whole nother rabbit hole I want to explore sometime.
Yeah.
But what firearm do you think it is? If you think you know, please comment on YouTube when we post this, or send an email to marketing@sdi.edu with your answer. Just put something in the subject head about this is for Drew's Clues. And if you're correct, we'll send you a t-shirt. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And before we get into SHOT Show, we got one more thing for you guys, and it is, of course, Sonoran Desert Institute itself. SDI, as we call it, is an online school that helps students learn the skills and techniques they will need to be successful in the firearms and unmanned technology industries. SDI is accredited by the Distance Education Accrediting Commission, also known as the DEAC. We love our acronyms here. Currently, we offer two programs in firearms technology, the Associate of Science in Firearms Technology, that's the ASFT, more acronyms, and the Certificate in Firearms Technology Gunsmithing, the CFTG. If you're interested in learning more about our programs and what you can do here at SDI, hop on to sdi.edu.
Wait, also, guys, thank you so much for being understanding last week with us not putting an episode out. Joey, how are you feeling, buddy?
Feeling a bit better. I still don't know what it was. It felt like being hungover without any of the fun that would predate being hungover. Pretty lame. Yeah, I don't have any idea what it was. It was just a mild fever and gastric distress for pretty much 72 straight hours. Super weird. But anyway, that's why we're here. I was not doing great. So I even took the day off from my day stuff as well. And I work freelance, which if you work freelance, you that probably should tell you how bad it was. We don't get paid time off. All right, let's talk about SHOT Show 2023. Do you want to talk a little bit? I see a note from you about kind of this is not technically your first one, but it kind of is.
Yeah, so when I started working for SDI, it was on the contract basis, and we started pretty much the first week of January. And so, within a couple of weeks, there was already SHOT Show happening. I remember, to be honest, those first couple of weeks were relatively easy because everyone was not focused on the new guy.
Yeah.
Everyone was it's like, look, Drew, welcome to the team. We have this big thing that we have to have our focus to, so it made sense. And plus, we were launching the School of Unmanned Technology as well, right around the same time.
Yeah.
So it's a crazy time. So I feel like this is really my first year being sort of engrossed with SHOT Show. And it's pretty cool seeing like the energy and just how excited everyone is for like all the announcements and everything. Still wish I was there, but I don't know, man. I don't know if I can hold out hope that they'll send me one day.
It might happen. I believe we send a team to SHOT Show every year.
We do.
I work freelance with a couple other gun places, and one of them was like, "Would you have any interest in doing that?" And it was like a week and a half ago. I was like, "It is a little late notice right now, but I'd really like to go." I missed out. It's always in Vegas, which is really far from me, and I don't really fly. So I'd have to like plan it out or take a dangerous amount of medication to make it okay.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, if you can go, you got to go once, right?
Oh, absolutely. My brother-in-law, he keeps asking if there's any way. It's like, hey, do you have any connections to like, getting into the show? I'm like, dude, if I had those if I could get into the show or get people into the show, I'd be going. But
Because
instead,
SDI had a booth there last year, I believe.
yeah,
I don't know if we did this year.
Yeah, SDI does have a booth. We've got a nice new booth there.
Nice.
And so we're definitely there. It's Christian and Steve.
Ooh.
From the
Jimmy Vegas is returning.
Yeah. Well, SHOT Show's on his home turf.
True, that man loves Las Vegas.
It's his territory.
He mostly is Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm. But I'm hoping one of these days that the Gun Rack podcast will be big enough that
we'll go on our own in our own right.
I would say it'd be cool to do a show live from SHOT Show. Like really live cool. Audience and everything. That'd be sick.
That would be really cool.
Yeah. But until that day comes, we're reporting from home as the information funnels in. We're telling you what we're finding out. And even in that case, I think we still got a couple cool things to talk about.
Yeah. I agree. Let's talk about some of them now. There's one you and I both mentioned, but you wrote it down first, so I'm going to give it to you. Kind of has to do with something we've talked about a few times from Palmetto State Armory.
Yeah. So I don't know if they were listening to our year in review episode. I would like to think that they were listening along. But it was a firearm I mentioned in that episode as being a big fan of. And that was the PSA Rock 5.7. However, I did say, maybe it's a little big for me to consider it as, something that I would carry on my person every day. But very, very nice and still something I was considering. Well, they must have been listening because now at SHOT Show, they announced a Rock 5.7 compact concept gun, which with it being a concept gun, its future still a little, in the air. Does it exist? Technically, yes. But it's definitely something I'm keeping my eyes out for. That sort of kicked off a trend, though, because I also noticed that Smith & Wesson released their own 5.7. It was the M&P 5.7.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, so I don't know. In my mind, I've seen, people talk about the 5.7 cartridge as potentially being something in the same vein as like 40 Smith & Wesson, where sort of this niche thing, but it never really takes off. But now with more companies kind of hopping on to the 5.7 train, I don't know, maybe there's something to it. It's just something to monitor for the future.
Yeah, no kidding. So I'm stoked about that, mostly because conceptually, the only way I think this gun works for me, outside of enjoying to shoot it, is within the concealed carry context. However, I don't know. I like PSA enormously, and I enjoyed shooting the Rock 5.7. A bottleneck cartridge within a personal defense. So I don't know what the use case is for it, but I think it's an interesting gun for sure. And they must be doing well with it in order to branch out like that. I don't think, honestly, long term, the 5.7's here to stay. Mainstream, anyway. I'm sure it's going to, exist. But now we have Smith & Wesson, PSA, Ruger, and FN, or Fabrique Nationale, I think is their full name, putting out a 5.7 product. So maybe I'm wrong. I'll be honest in saying I don't get it. But hey, if it's your thing, it sure is fun to shoot at the range. And yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I think the future at least looks brighter than it did, say, a month ago.
Yeah, no doubt. No
opinion,
doubt. There's clearly some part of the market they're tapped into, because ever since Ruger did theirs, everybody's scrambling to catch up. Yeah, so that's a pretty good one, I think. Now, here's the one I'm stoked about. You had a kind of half bullet point about it, but this is the one I'm freaked about right now. The STG 44 is getting remade by Palmetto State Armory, because Palmetto State Armory has figured out their target market pretty well and knows it's a massive history nerds. And so I'm sure you guys know there's a bunch of STG 44 replicas that are in like 22 LR, right? And you can do like own this classic firearm, but it's not, it's in a plinkster kind of way. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. But if you want something more than that, STG 44 type rifle from Palmetto State Armory is coming out in multiple calibers, 4 of them, in 5.56, 300 blackout, 7.62 by 39, and almost unbelievably 7.92 Kurz, which I'm pretty sure is the original round it came out in, which, according to guns.com, is possible because PRVI Partisan Ammunition still makes it. I wouldn't do that because it's crazy expensive, but if you're just stoked about it, there's an opportunity there. But way more importantly, because I'm only moderately interested in that by itself, but what it does, according to sources, is open a bunch of opportunities for PSA to make replicas of kind of classic historical lines. I know somewhere they named it a new series. Is it the Battlefield line? Which means that all sorts of other cool crap could be coming out of there. That's, it doesn't, no one needs to be running around necessarily with STG 44 doing a 3-gun event. But if you want to have something that's fun to, take to the range, that's in that, like, what I would do to have a reproduction of a Tommy gun? And they make them, they're just stupid expensive. I bet PSA could do it cheaper. There's nothing there that's backbreakingly expensive. Same for a M1 carbines are fairly inexpensive, but one that's reliable, because that's not always a given with some of the other manufacturers of them. Some other big ones, FNFAL, a knockoff of that would be pretty sweet. Knockoff is kind of an unkind word for the effort they're putting in, but PSA is just dialed in to what their customers want. They just are. And they, SDI has done work with them in the past. So I want to be sure that I disclose that too, but I don't have anything to do with that. I interviewed their CEO once. So this is just personal opinion. I just think they're locked in, man, on what their people want. They have somewhere out there an MP5 knockoff that they're supposed to be an MP5 clone. And I have shot their MP5 clone. I think. I shot some once. I'm pretty sure it was theirs. And the on Reddit, I found a tip that said the PSA co-founder is on ARFCom and has recently confirmed the MP5 is dead. Maybe I was just shooting the Century Arms one. And one Reddit user says that MP5 is not happening. They basically said they can't make one cheaper than what's already on the market, so it seemed pointless. They just did to focus on their ammo production instead. That's just a Reddit user. So, like, take that with a grain of salt. But points for trying regardless, I think.
I say you mentioned the FAL as being a possibility with them with this Battlefield line, sort of opening up to other possibilities. I think it was DSA Arms has a US made FAL.
Really?
That they were showing off this year at SHOT Show.
Damn, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you saying that made me think of it, so I figure I'd bring it up.
Yeah, I love that. That's one of the few guns I've shot at a range day that I don't have that would be like, oh, that's kind of cool. I shot it in full auto, and that is just not a firearm. It's just not a firearm that needs to be in full auto.
Yeah.
You got to do it in tight bursts, or you're going to be miserable. Personally, I just don't have enough good things to say about those guys, and got a lot of love for what they got going on. I think that's enough for them. For now, I did want to share that with you guys. That's the huge one for me. There were some other things going on, but that's the takeaway.
For sure. And that was the first one I had listed too, pretty much. I didn't find out about the Battlefield line until today, or I didn't happen to see it, but
freaked. I do have one more. The Springfield Armory 1911 DS Prodigy in 9mm Luger. Both, I'm certain that there's a group of people that are like really another 1911, and I'm certain there's a bunch of 1911 people are like really 9mm. But someone like me that likes to own all the designs, I happen to have a 1911 in 45, but is kind of a 9mm main, as to use a gaming term. Someone who focuses really in that zone could do pretty well with this, and the capacity is really good. I won't call anything high capacity. So I don't really believe in that as a concept, but to quote allforshooters.com, they said the classic single action pistol was built on a forged steel frame combined with a polymer grip module for double stack magazines with a capacity of 17 cartridges, which is pretty solid. It said optional extended mags are also available with a capacity of 20 or 26 rounds. That's pretty darn good.
Ooh,
yeah. So I could see that being fun for the range. It's probably a little big for concealed carry for most folks. But yeah, really enjoyed that. I thought that was a good lineup. And whether you are a purist or an anti-1911er or what have you, I still bet they sell like crazy. So we got that one too.
Yeah. For what I saw, I feel like it's been a pretty good SHOT Show for 1911 lovers.
Yeah. So what's up with Holosun?
Yeah, so another thing I stumbled across today is that Holosun is making optics with built-in night vision and thermal imaging. So they're going to have 3 models, and they don't have official names for it yet, but apparently they're coming soon. So the first one is going to be a traditional night vision optic, and the other 2 are thermals, with the one being sort of a standard definition version, and the other one being what they call a quote-unquote high-def thermal.
Nice.
So I guess like a 4K and a 360p. And the night vision one is going to be around $1,000. The standard thermal is going to be around $1,600, and the HD thermal is going to be around $2,300. But they're looking at a Q4 release, so just in time for Christmas.
Start stacking your dollar bills now.
Yeah, but I just thought it sounded pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it.
Now, we know why you guys listen to the podcast. Yeah, if you want just general gun knowledge, you can go to your gun tubers. You can go to your guns.com for all the standard updates. But here on the Gun Rack, we're going to bring you stuff that not many people are talking about.
It's true. They're not talking about it because it already happened and we're just learning about
Yep. Or at least in this instance, we are. So,
it. Oh shoot, I didn't even read ahead.
yeah, no, you're done.
That's just the heart of who we are.
Yeah. So, I was going to talk about I don't think this is new, but I found out about it because of this year's SHOT Show, so I'm going to count it. Magnum Research's Thunder Snub. I'm not going to spend much time on this other than to say I spent a decent amount of time cracking up at the video I saw of it. Long story short, it's a snub-nosed revolver that's chambered in 4570 government cartridges. It's got a 3-inch barrel with an overall length of 10 inches. Joey, the muzzle flash on this thing, it looks like the Tsar Bomba. Just like if it went off in your hand and your hand was by your face. It's completely ridiculous and cool. So I just want to mention that. And this is one I don't think a lot of people are going to talk about. Arguably, maybe they shouldn't. But, Joey, I want you to do a favor and click on the link in the show notes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the Flight Light SCR 300 Blackout Bandito Pistol. Again, it shoots 300 Blackout, has a overall weight of about 4.5 pounds, an overall length of 21.25 inches, width of 2.25 inches at its widest point, 10-round detachable magazine, MSRP of $1,300. Have you seen the image of this?
Yes. It looks so small that I wonder how it could be practicable.
Here's the thing. I don't think it is. I think it's impractical. I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think it's cumbersome.
Yeah, I kind of hate it. Woof, that's just weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it was maybe the oddest thing I've seen so far. And that's why I wanted to mention it, because you're probably not going to get a lot of people talking about it. And so if you're listening and you're curious about the Bandito pistol, please look it up. It is, again, ridiculous, impractical, cumbersome. And for some strange reason, I want to say I own one.
Oh, I don't. I sure don't.
I mean,
that's the first gun in a minute where I'm like, I could not kill him.
No, if money was not an issue,
I still wouldn't. I hate it.
No, this is one of those that I would want to bring up and, like, if I have my friends over, bring out and be like, look at this bad boy. It's like, oh, whoa, what is that? It's like, oh, I don't know. But
yeah, I would totally get that BFR 4570, which is several years old according to this YouTube stuff, which is, I didn't realize it was quite that old. They also make a 4570 Derringer, or at least used to, which, woof. That's all I'm gonna say about that one. Who in the world wants that? I badly want a 4570 something. I think that cartridge is so fun. Just need to figure out what in the world that's going to be. I feel like it should be a lever action. It's kind of old school, but
ooh,
yeah. 22 Plinkster once let me shoot one of his 4570 lever actions.
Really?
Gorgeous. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, that thing kicks. But you know what it kicks? Yeah, well, the perceived recoil was no worse than a Mosin Nagant without any kind of butt pad on it. So, at least to my tender shoulder, I did not notice a difference. But that's new versus very, very old, obviously. Anyway, that's what we've got for now from SHOT Show. If anything new rolls out here in the coming hours or days, I think we're probably mostly done with the big announcements. We will be sure to tag it into the next podcast. Before we sign off, though, we have a Tales from the Range for today.
Yes, this one, once again, is from thehighroad.com. This was from user Airwalter. And it says, here is another jewel I remember, involving someone who believes that just because they work in a gun store makes them experts. There is a shady gun store near where I lived. The only gun store I know with a metal detector at the entrance, unarmed employees, and scans your ID whenever you buy something.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. Anyway, one time I went in there, was a guy working at the knife counter. He was asked a question by a customer about a gun, and he replied, "I don't know anything about guns. I just work the knife counter." A month later, he was working the gun counter. And then he had an outlandish claim that Glock submerges all their firearms underwater for a year before they can be sold to test their finish. I asked him if the finish also kept off the algae and particles. I was politely asked him.
Wow.
What an experience.
Yep. And I know exactly the vibe that he's encapsulating, because that crap happens with every... Man, I can't tell you how many times I've been talked down to at a local chain store where someone got picked up behind the counter and wants to patronize people that come up.
Yeah.
And like, it's just, it's a lot.
I mean, after all, we all know Glock submerges their firearms underwater for at least 2 years.
Yeah, dude. You got to marinate that like wine.
Yeah.
We're not talking about barefoot here. We're talking about Glock.
Yeah. So you hate to see it.
You do hate to see it. Next time something like that happens to you, just drop the Ron Swanson, "I know more than you," and just probably get politely asked to leave. But, it's fine.
That's how I feel whenever I go to McDonald's. I see one of their fry cooks. I'm like, "Hey, I was doing this before you.
I walked so you could run."
Yes.
Don't know anything out there.
No. Well, anyway, folks, I believe that is our episode today. Again, thank you for being chill with us last week. We're glad to have a healthier Joey Upper with us. And we hope you guys are enjoying all the SHOT Show news, all the stuff that's trickling in. Until next time, Joey, you want to take us home?
Yeah, for
you
now.
say better than I do.
Oh, okay. Okay, hold on. For now, that is the gun rack. Have fun out there. See you at the range.
Yeah, that sounded a lot better than I would have done it. All right, see y'all.
Sonoran Desert Institute is an online school accredited by the DEAC. It is headquartered at 1555 West University Drive in Tempe, Arizona. For more information about how you can craft your firearms future, visit sdi.edu.